big who blue ha-ha over Ranveer Singh. The question we are asking tonight is, have we become a country that gets offended just too soon? Have we Indians become more touchy as the world becomes more progressive? Well, a controversy surrounding Ranveer Singh would make it seem so. The actor's recent magazine photoshoot has triggered a massive storm. Why? Because a man who is in the business of showbiz decided to pose in the nude. And for that, he is now facing an FIR in Mumbai for hurting sentiments of women and insulting their modesty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the first time that Bollywood actors have been seen bearing it all. From Akshay Kumar to Anil Kapoor to Jackie Shroff to Shakti Kapoor and even Naseeruddin Shah. And perhaps the most famous one etched in our minds is the picture of models Madhu Sapre and Milind Soman hugging each other, bare-bodied with a snake wrapped around them. So why this sudden outrage? Now, this may seem a bit too much for many people, including the child rights body, which thinks that this is an assault on the senses of some audiences. They're right from their perspective, possibly, but I'm left wondering, how often do we outrage like this, or how often are cases filed when scantily clad women are seen not just on magazine covers, but also on hoardings and billboards and on social media ever so often? Is that normalized to such an extent that one would not bat an eyelid over women bearing it? That's the question. And let's debate that. And joining me tonight, Suhel Seth, author and columnist, Nisha Rawal, actor, advocate Vedika Choubey, complainant, Indrajit Lankesh, Indian filmmaker and producer-director. My first question to the petitioner, in this case, advocate Vedika Choubey. What's your problem? The man is in showbiz. He wants to bear it all. It's his free will. You don't want to watch it, just don't.
No, clearly I don't want to watch such pictures, such posts that is spread all over the media, all over the Twitter, Instagram, and it is obscene, so it is obscene. I have seen the pictures, I have seen his photos, 5 photos that he has posted through his Twitter handle and Instagram handle, and that is not good for the society. This is what I feel.
But his free will, his choice, Suhel said, that's not important. What is important? Why don't you just block his Twitter handle and his Instagram account? Suhel said that's possible too.
But
no,
now it's not the matter. It's not the matter of
Twitter. 1 minute, Vedika. The question is asked to me, so let me reply. Vedika has every right to outrage over an assault on her very creatively crafted sensibilities. I have no issues with that. What I'm worried about is that our judicial process is tweaking under the weight of legacy cases. Our police system is under pressure. You have nothing of worthy attention to do. Now you will drag this, you will make a mockery of the entire judicial process. You will create issues for this particular person, who, by the way, is also stupid to do this, knowing that there are many Vedikas in our country, and rightly so, who don't like this, expression of visual identity.
Yeah, almost 70% of women are Vedika.
No, Vedika, as I told you, when I need your advice, I will rattle your cage. Let me finish. I'm being very civil with you, Vedika. You're a lawyer. You must allow the other party to speak. You can't keep interrupting. This is not a television program. But when I last checked of that order.
Yes.
So, there are 4 issues here. Number 1, there are many Vedikas in India, and India now needs to be worried about those Vedikas, because Vedika is right. Her name also has a bit of Indian literature and classical history in the name. So she has every right to outrage. But Vedika, we are also a country where Khajuraho is visible for everyone, from tourists to parents to families. So we have no issues with that. Number 3, as Navika Kumar rightly said in her opening remarks, there are many people of both genders, in fact of many genders now, because you can't only talk about men and women, who behave in a very outrageous manner as far as sartorial elegance is concerned. Number 4, Vedika, if someone has done this, you know that that person is from show business. You know that person has never said that he belongs to the missionaries of charity. You know that that person has never said that he is going to reform society through what he wears. He is, I mean, for God's sake, Mahatma Gandhi wore a loin cloth, which is not to be confused with what we in Punjab refer to as lion often. He wore a loin cloth. No one had a problem. The King of England said he was, when asked, Mahatma Gandhi said the King of England was wearing enough for both of us. For God's sake, Vedika, you're an accomplished lawyer from when I last checked with Navika. Navika only has very accomplished people on her program. Obviously, there are more serious issues in the country.
Well said, well said. So let me get in Mr. Lankesh. Mr. Lankesh, the last time I checked, there was a similar case that was filed against Madhu Sapre and Milind Soman in 1995. Went on for about 14 years, but in 2009, the two of them were acquitted. 1995, they were acquitted because nobody in the law books could find anything wrong that they had done. And as Suhel Seth has pointed out, we live in a country that talks about Kama Sutra and Khajuraho. I mean, are we doing this just to harass people and associate our names for some amount of maybe publicity?
See, first of all, I would like to say that let's not bring Mahatma Gandhi here into the debate of this kind of a narrative. Please, let's keep Mahatma Gandhi out of this. And another thing is, Madhu Sapre and Milind Soman was not the first who did this. In fact, before that, there was Pratima Bedi who went naked while running on the beach of Bombay. Yeah. And also after that, there was a case on Akshay Kumar, which Twinkle is still facing. So there's a lot of different cases, different issues, but Madhu Sapre and Milind Soman, as far as I know, there was a snake in between. And now there is, of course, Mahatma Gandhi has khadi, but now there is no cloth here when Ranveer comes in the picture. But of course, there are different narratives, what I've heard. A director saying that, liberation of men, why should only the women expose and all that? But I've heard all these narratives. But I feel where should we draw the line here? In fact, recently, there was a lot of narratives about the uniform code of dress code when it comes to hijab. There was a big issue, and I had come into a debate when hijab was, in fact, not allowed in schools, and a lot of Muslim minority girls stopped going to schools. It's a disgrace. I felt very sad about it. So now, what are we arguing about? In fact, this man who is not wearing anything, he's done a photo shoot. I think it's for a publicity. I think it's the freedom of expression. Till what extent do you go to? I don't know. I neither want to take sides here or support or not support or whatever. In fact, he's a good actor, he's a fantastic actor, but I don't think he needs this kind of a gimmick or publicity.
But then who are you to decide that? No, but who are you to decide that? It's his free choice.
It's not about decide, it's about freedom of expression.
No, so Nisha Rawal, is Ranveer Singh going in the raw to a school? Is he going in the raw to a restaurant? Is he going to a public place? He's sitting, he's done a photo shoot.
It's on a public domain. It's on a public domain, please.
Block him, my friend.
It's not, he's sitting in his house.
Block him, my friend. Have you seen other women? How come nobody is outraged about women showing their cleavage? How come nobody gets outraged when women clothes are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller? Well, Nisha Rawal, is it much ado about nothing?
Yes. Okay, so Navika, what I want to say is that anything that is done in society will always have multiple point of views. I read about two things which kind of touched my heart. One was that women's modesty is being insulted. So I'd like to talk today as a woman. I went and saw Ranveer Singh's Instagram account. I saw that post actually after I was called by Times. And I saw that there were more than 2 million likes on it. If you take the insights of that post, I'm sure more women must be liking that image. So who are we talking about when we have 2 million as proof out there, firstly? Second thing, I'm a mom and I want to raise my child in a world that's full of love and acceptance. And that's why it was very important for me to be here today. Although this topic for me was more like so important that it's not even important. But it's important because it's my responsibility responsibility, and what kind of images are we talking about? I'm an artist. I've been in the industry for more than 21 years. These images have been very aesthetically shot. There is an entire team of professionals that go behind shooting these images. It's not like Ranveer Singh one day just went to the bathroom and clicked some obscene pictures. What are we talking about? It was very aesthetically done. There needs to be appreciation for what he has done, because it's taken a lot. It takes a lot of courage to come out and upload these images, and he's been applauded for his amazing work in the past. There's a lot of effort that goes into such a thing. It's a piece of art, and I feel that it needs to be applauded.
Well said.
In India,
well said, Nisha Rawal.
We've been sculpting on
Mr.
stones.
Lankesh, Nisha Rawal, Mr. Lankesh, I just want to ask you, the fact of the matter is, you've seen paintings in the past, in the nude. Painters have painted many such pictures, and this is a picture. This is a photograph. You haven't seen the man in the raw standing in a public place. This is a picture. Paintings are also in public domain. How come this offends you and not a painting of a woman in the raw?
See, it's not about offending or not offending. It's about what extent to go to freedom of expression. I'm talking about when M.F. Hussain draws a painting of gods naked, of course I objected. When Salman Rushdie wrote about a particular minority caste about his book.
So why are you bringing in gods? There are no gods here. Suhel Seth, are we once again sidetracking? You know, that's a different case. That is a different context. This is a different context.
I've heard Indrajit
30 seconds, Suhel Seth.
I've heard Nisha Rawal. All I'm saying is that Indrajit Lankesh is supposedly a filmmaker.
Nisha Rawal. Sorry about that. Nisha Rawal and Mr. Lankesh. You know, you can't continuously speak, because that also is offending.
Indrajit Lankesh is a filmmaker. If and when he makes a film which does not suit the sensibilities of a Navika Kumar, it does not give Navika Kumar the right to take him to court on the grounds that she feels her sensibilities have been violated. A. B. I have a very clinical view. Today, Vedika has filed a case or filed an FIR against this gentleman. We have to figure out, A, are there any statutes of law in India which Ranveer Singh has violated? If there are such statutes and there is a violation, then what, Navika, you and I need to worry about is the evolution of the legal process. Because you cannot have the hypocrisy of society where you have sculptures which predate the Lankeshes and the Vedikas of the world, and then have this hypocritical stance that you take. Because quite honestly, it is his personal Instagram account. He did not place these as advertorials in Times Now, nor is he telling Indrajit. I'll tell you one thing.
Mr. Lankesh, you don't want to see it, don't see it. You're on a debate to discuss this, but you can't tolerate what he's put out. Well, as they say, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Some find it offensive, outrageous, and some say there's nothing wrong with it. But FIR, registering a case, is that excessive reaction? And is that tantamount to harassment for something that really is nobody's concern? It's a question many people are asking. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the Newshour tonight. Good night. Take care.